Hey, welcome to the JJ Carrell Show, formerly Truth with JJ Carrell. I'm on a new platform and I am excited about it. I'm on Survival Dispatch News. Chris Heaven, he has allowed me to be on his platform and I am stoked to be on it because I want to continue to just speak the truth. And we have a cold open that's going to come, but I wanted to talk first with my audience because I've been gone for it's been 2 weeks since I left my previous platform and came on this one. And I had a week off. I took my family on vacation, went back to Southern California, San Diego, to see my nephew play some high school football before he goes on scholarship to college, see my friends and family, and had a lot of time to think. Like, is this the type of show that I want to continue to do? Should I make changes? How do I want to proceed? What do I want to talk about? What do I feel is important? And I had a lot of time just to kind of decompress. And I feel like I'm on the right path. So I'm going to tweak a few things, but I'm going to just continually every single day bring you what I believe is the truth. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like my studio, the way I wear black t-shirts every day. I don't really care. Then take me off. If you want to hear just some bold truth, somebody speaking boldly, no filter, not mean, not vile, not condescending. I'm just going to tell you what the truth is, how I see it, not just from what I believe. This is based on 24 years experience as a Border Patrol agent in federal law enforcement. I wrote 2 best-selling books. I did 2 documentaries, testified in front of Congress. So I have a resume that gives me street cred. I'm not some stupid talking head that's looking through binoculars at the border, or what's it like to arrest someone, or what's it like to be in government. No, I did all that. I'm very aware of it. So with that said, I want to start my show, man. I want to let's get right into it. So Nick's my producer. I'm stoked to have him. If Nick, can you start it? Let's show this first video, man.
Countries have the Why do only white countries have the moral obligation to live in this experimental diversity? I began to question why Americans living in the land of the free were forbidden the freedom of association. I began to question why the same groups of people that benefit from our country's altruism are allowed to collectivize within our borders in peace, yet any semblance of white collectivism is considered a form of supremacy. I began to question, why do I have to morally justify the continuation of my people? I am no longer a civic nationalist. I'm no longer a civic nationalist because demographics matter. I'm no longer a civic nationalist because in our majority white country, it is considered controversial just to say it's okay to be white. And I'm no longer a civic nationalist because I won't stand by as whites become minorities in their own homelands just so that I can selfishly claim at the end of it all, at least I was an individualist. And I have a dream that one day whites will be equally permitted to live in their own countries as others do. I'm no longer a civic nationalist, and I'm not sorry about it.
Powerful and direct and spot on. Let's just look at numbers, okay? Before all you start crying racism and wow, you're talking about white people. Well, hell yeah, I am. Why is it okay that we go from the late 60s, early 70s to 90% white to now we are below 60%? Let me repeat that so you understand. 60s and 70s, 90% white nation. 50 years later, we are in the 60s, below the 60s. By 2045, these are projections that continually change downward. That by 2045, and some say it'll be closer to 2035, we will be the minority, being 45%. Did you vote for that? I didn't. But let's look at numbers, okay? Because this is very important. If you go to Gronk, or if you go to some AI, or you start looking at the demographic, the white population in the globe, you see numbers ranging from 6%, as low as 6%, up to 16%. And it just depends on how you categorize white, I guess. So let's just split it. Let's just split down the middle. 10%, right? Rough number. 10% of the world's population is white, which consists mainly of Western European, Russia, North America, Canada and the US, the UK, Ireland. And yet, is there a nation outside of the nations I just mentioned, Western Europe, Canada, and the United States of America, that is being destroyed demographically? Is there? And the answer is no. Why is that? Do you think that it just this is organic? That the lower half of the world, the globe, the flat Earth, depending on where you are on that idea, that they just organically moved into white America, white Canada, white Europe? Or do you think that it was purposely done? To thus the Great Reset. This is not my idea. This is not my terminology, phraseology. This is what the leaders of the Western world have openly stated. They want to globally reset all of the nations. And how are they going to do that? Well, they have to do it demographically. They have to destroy the native populations. But before we go any further, let's ask about the other nations that are not being invaded, not having their demographics completely and totally, utterly changed. Is Japan? Japan's former prime minister brought in illegal aliens or legal immigrants because their population is dying, and it has changed Japan almost overnight that they threw him out, brought in a hard nationalist, and she, the female prime minister of Japan, said, they're all out. All of them are gone. We have a culture, we have norms, and we have societal norms that are being destroyed, and we're going to go back to what is right for Japan and Japanese. Whoa. Do you see tens of millions of illegal aliens pouring into China? Do you think Xi Jinping would allow this to happen? Are you seeing this happen in Russia? You think Putin's going to allow his societal norms, his cultural norms to be destroyed? No. The answer is no. Is anybody pouring into any of the countries in Africa? No. But we do have an idea of what it looks like to have your demographics change in power structure in South Africa. It is a third world hellhole now. They're starving there. There's no one has any control over anything. Do you think any nation has the right to determine what their ethnic demographics are, what their makeup is? Absolutely. And if you don't, then you don't have a country. Let's take Ecuador, just a simple country. I don't know what the population is. Let's say it's 20 million. And I'm being generous. What if I told you, Ecuadorians, that I'm going to flood your nation with, say, 3 million Chinese nationals? Never going to speak your language. They're going to change all your cultural norms. They would lose their mind and they would say, hell no. Do you understand what's happening in Mexico right now? Because all of the illegal aliens that have traversed, and I have no sympathy for Mexico, they did it to themselves, but because those illegal aliens cannot get through the border, the southern border, because it's completely shut down. Because they can't get through the southern border, they're jamming up and populating Mexico. Guatemalans, Hondurans, you name it. There's a mass deportation effort to get rid of Hondurans, Guatemalans, El Salvadorians. Why is that not racist for Mexico to do that? And it shows you the grotesque ignorance of Americans, because we like to conflate all of those nations as one. Like Hondurans are the same as Guatemalans. Guatemalans are the same as Mexicans, El Salvadorians, Haitians, Venezuelans, everyone, Peruvians, they're all the same. They're just Hispanic. And the answer is you're so stupid, so grotesquely ignorant that you have no idea about the world outside of America. Let me give you a little glimpse into how the Latinos think of each other. When I was in the last year in the United States Border Patrol, it was Joe Biden's first year. Our cells were packed to the rim with every nationality you can imagine. I couldn't put Hondurans with Mexicans. I couldn't put Mexicans with Guatemalans. I couldn't put Guatemalans with Hondurans. I couldn't put anybody, and I mean anybody, with the Haitians, because everybody hated the Haitians. The other group of people that culturally couldn't be connected or have any contact with any other group of people, those were the Indian nationals. Because the Mexicans, the Guatemalans, the Hondurans, the Haitians, the Germans, the Australians, nobody wanted to be anywhere near the Indians because of their unique, let's use that, the uniqueness of their cultural normalities. The idea that the world is not racist. The idea that the world does not care about race, ethnicity. The idea that the world is this kumbaya place. Everywhere in the world is kumbaya, and they love everybody to come in and out, except the Americans. We're the most racist. You are so stupid. America is the least racist place in the globe. Why do you, or let me put it better this way, why did I, in 24 years in the United States Border Patrol, see hundreds of thousands, if not a million plus, people cross the border, jumping over fences, taking boats 200 miles out to sea and coming ashore while my unit was waiting for them, going through the desert and dying? Why did I see all that traffic come north? And yet I never saw not even one person run south, jump over the fence and run into Mexico to escape America. And the reason is because America is great. The reason is America is a land of opportunity. America is the land of law and order, or used to be. I need to make a caveat there. Used to be the land of law and order. We're no longer that, and that's a discussion for another day. America has been invaded. Our demographics have been utterly destroyed. And now, when we go downtown or we go to a new neighborhood or you try to put your kid in school and your kid is the minority, and you freak out. And this is happening all across America. All across America. We're not talking about the 1970s where 90% white, 8% black, 2% whatever. We don't care. We were Americans. So let's fast forward to today, and let's just say whites are not having as many children. Blacks are kind of staying the same. Hispanics are growing naturally, right? Let's say we're at 75% white, say 13% black, which we are today, and about 12% Hispanic. So we're and a little 2-3% Asian, Indian, whatever, kind of brought in. Nobody cares because we're Americans. We speak English. We have the same religion. We have the same beliefs, holidays, national heroes celebrated. Everything's the same. Is that what you're seeing today? Are you seeing a shared language? Are you seeing a shared cultural normalcies and societal normalcies? Are you seeing us celebrating the founding fathers, the founding documents, who we are? You're honestly going to sit there and have that argument with me, that discussion with me, and think that we're living in the same America we were 50 years ago. We are living in the same America 25 years ago. We're living in the same America we knew 10 years ago. You're going to have that discussion with me. You're going to argue with me about that. Less than 60% of the population is white. Blacks have rose to 13% and stayed normal because they're killing all their kids with Planned Parenthood. Do you know who has the blacks are now not the second minority? So blacks need to pay attention because your leaders, your representatives sold you down the road. That's why you have become more insignificant in American society. Culturally, politically, you have no leverage. Why? Because you have been superseded. Do you know that you're not the number 2 minority or the number 1 minority in America? You're number 2. You've been surpassed by Hispanics. They're the number 1 minority in America. Did you know that? Well, how the hell did that happen? Did Hispanics just begin to outbirth Americans, whites and blacks? No, no. Our government brought them in by the tens of millions. So we have had our demographics absolutely artificially destroyed. Completely and utterly destroyed. Artificially. What if I came to you and said, hey, you know, whites are just declining, blacks, and this, nobody cares. But you just brought in the last 4 years under Joe Biden, 30 million illegal aliens. You don't want to believe me? A guy that's done this, the guy that has been in the front of the battle of this war on immigration, a guy that's been in senior leadership, a guy that did research on 2 best-selling books, that's in it, talks to everybody every day, that knows exactly what's going on. You don't want to believe me? Fine. You want to believe a government that hates you, a government that lies to you every day? Okay, let's go off of what they said. Joe Biden's administration admitted to 18 million. 18 million. Donald Trump started out with about 10 when he first took office. And I sat there shocked that this man was saying that out loud. Like, what planet are you on, sir? And I'm the biggest Trump supporter. Then he went about 6 months later, went to 15. He jumped to 20. Now he's at 22. Now he's at 25 million that he admits that Joe Biden let in. He's just about 5 million shy. But just so you understand, the real number is 30 million. Prior to Donald Trump leaving office in 2019, it was known within the community of immigration, illegal immigration, that the agreed upon number, that's how I should put it, because I don't agree, but the consensus agreed upon number of illegal aliens in America was 22 million. 22 million. Add 30 million to that. 50 million illegal aliens in America. It's not even disputed. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not even disputed. Do you know right now as I speak, there are 55 million. Let me say that again so you make sure that I'm not stuttering or you're driving or you're multitasking and you're like, what did he just say? There are 55 million legal visa holders in America right now. There are over 105 million legal and illegal aliens in America right now. 1 in 3 to 1 in 3.5 people inside of our nation are foreign nationals. Why do you think rent's skyrocketing? Why do you think mortgages are so hard to get? Why do you think our economy is struggling? Because we have an economy that's supposed to support 340 million people, and we're supporting 450 million people. Those visa holders are getting welfare. They're overstaying their visas. They're having children. So they have birthright citizenship, which is a lie. And I will talk about that with anyone anytime they want to know. It's a lie. To be a citizen in the United States is a 2-pronged system. You have to be born on American soil and be born in the jurisdiction of the United States of America, meaning the country that has jurisdiction over you. The demographics of America is a ticking time bomb. I wrote about this in my best-selling book, Treason. I took UN data, which I don't trust, but I'm going to use them because I use it for the liberals to prove my point. The immigrants, the illegal immigrants brought over by Joe Biden and the ones that were living here prior to Joe Biden reproduce up to a 5 times that of our native citizens in America. Our citizenry, our women, are not even reproducing at the replacement level. We are now down to about a 1.6, which is a death spiral. And at the same time, you brought in 50 million illegal aliens. You brought in 55 million legal immigrants, with a significant percentage of them overstaying their visa. So now you have tens of millions of people that are in our country at a birth rate of 5 times that of our dying reproductive rate. We are in a bad math problem, America, and we lose. We are losing right now. And when you hear me on my show talk about the absolute need for the removal, the deportation of every single person in our country that is here illegally, that is why, because they are a demographic ticking time bomb. The Democrats don't have to do anything. The gutless Republicans don't have to do anything else. All they have to do is allow the status quo of illegal aliens to reproduce, and we lose. It's over. This is not blackpilling. This is not hyperbole. This is just simply the effing truth. You, America, are a dying population. We are being outbirthed, and they will take over our nation. If you do not, if you need an example, I will give you one example after another, and here we go. Minnesota. Absolute, pure white population. Norwegian, Vikings, Scandinavian, white. Whiter than you've ever seen. White skin, white hair, blue eyes. That's just who populated that. Now you have a Somali congresswoman, Ilhan Omar. How did she become a congresswoman? Well, Obama put tens of thousands of Somalis in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They're about to have one of their state senators, who is also a Somali national or descendant of Somalians, is going to be the mayor. It's over, America. That is one of endless examples I can give you. Why is it not okay to say, I want my country to remain the demographics that she was founded on and that she is? Every other country in America, every other country in the world, sans the insane European Union that have destroyed their countries, and Canada. Why is every other non-white nation not being invaded? Why do we have to change everything? Why do we have to allow our nation to be corrupted, to be destroyed by foreigners? And that young woman I showed you saying she's tired, she's no longer caring. You have people like Nick Fuentes talking to the younger generation. They've had it. This thing called white privilege, that's an insult. That's slander. Do you know why we're successful as white people? Because we have incredible work ethic. We're rooted in spirituality and God. We're rooted in a moral compass of the Bible. We're rooted in property rights. We're rooted in civility. We're rooted in property rights. We're rooted in morality that is not seen before or outside of our nations. We do not steal, we do not take, we do not rob, and we do not rape, we do not murder. And if we do, we are punished severely. That was the old way of the United States of America. We now have become a nation of impotent, cowardly men. We have allowed my father and his generation, and the one between me and him, we've allowed them to destroy our nation. And I will include my generation too, because we remain silent in the face of absurdity. We remain silent in the face of demographic change and destruction. We remain silent as people mock our savior. We remain silent as our our representatives spent all of our money, stole it all. All of it's not even up for debate. Doge and Elon Musk showed it all. They just showed the tip of the iceberg. Our government has stolen our money and given it to foreign nations and foreign nationals, and they've destroyed America. I'm going to, let me say it this way. This isn't new to me to talk like this. I have been talking like this since politics began to enter into my thought process as a teenager, then into college, and then when I got out into the real world, it really smacked me in the face. But I had a good, solid upbringing. My father was a Secret Service agent. My mom was an entrepreneur, business owner, and I saw the struggles. I saw things happening in my generation as I'm in my 50s begin to change, and I would speak about it because I was unafraid. I don't care if you're going to call me whatever names you want to say, whatever the vile cornucopia of bad things, a xenophobic, a racist, a Nazi, whatever. I've been called those things my whole entire life throughout my career in the United States Border Patrol. I know who I am, and I'm none of those things, so I don't really care. I'm going to speak the truth, and the things that I say to you are the things that I say at the dinner table to my wife and my son. My son is 14 years old. My son, when I pick him up and we go places and his friends are in the back, I don't say a word. I just listen to them talk. And I want you to understand something, America, because I don't think you have a full understanding, especially you leftists. This generation that is the 20s to the 28s and the kids that are like 12 to 20, this two, I kind of split them up. Those two, the 12-year-olds to like the 30-year-old, they're going to dominate America. And you're not going to like them. I'm going to love them. But you leftists, you scumbag, sellout Republicans, you rhinos, you're going to hate them. You're going to despise them. And they are going to be so in your face. They are going to be so almost self-righteous. And they're not going to talk about it. They're going to do it. I listen to these young people speak, talk. They're around me. My nephews, my nieces, they're around me. I listen to them without giving my 2 cents. And they're angry. They look at the generation ahead of them and they think they're sexually perverse. They're morally compromised. They're insane. And here's the thing that I want America to understand. This generation that's coming up is looking up at us, and you know what they all say about us? And this is the most important thing. They're all unhappy. And when you have an intellectual person that does critical thinking, they will look up to a generation, a situation, a group of people, and they'll begin to connect the dots. Why are they so unhappy? Well, because number one, they're working their ass off and they can't get ahead. The more they work, the less they get. They're sexually perverse. You have millions of women that don't have any children and they're losing their mind right now because they're in their 40s and they have nothing or no one. The middle management job that they tried to get and they finally obtained, no one cares. Your middle management job is not going to clean your body or care for you and feed for you when you're 70s and 80s and you're about to die. No one cares and no one's going to be there for you. Our whole generations have been lied to about everything: religion, economics, spirituality, the moon landing, 9/11, vaccines, medical, education, the pyramids. Everything has been a bold-faced lie. Diversity is your strength. Is anybody today saying that out loud? Is anybody acknowledging that that is a lie? How is diversity a strength? Do you know my whole life I had that jammed down my throat, diversity is a strength? And every single time I would ask, "Well, explain to me how is it a strength?" Even in a non-confrontational way. Yeah, why do you say that? Do you know after probably 30 plus years of asking that question, I've never, ever got a reasonable response? Nothing. How does taking 50 plus million illegal aliens that don't speak my language, don't share my cultural norms, don't share my religious beliefs, hate or have no idea who the founding fathers are in documents, don't celebrate the same religious holidays, don't share the same foods, don't understand how to dispose of trash, and that diversity is going to make us stronger? Do you think America's stronger right now than we were in the 60s and 70s, 80s and 90s? Do you? Do you honestly believe that? And the answer is no, diversity is not a strength, it is actually a cancer. It's a cancer in America. My first sponsor that I want to talk to you about is sat123.com. Sat123.com/JJ. What is Sat123? On my show, I believe in two things. Well, I believe in one: be prepared. How are you prepared for everything? You're never going to be prepared for everything. Can't. My wife and I have these conversations. Are we prepared? Well, we're as prepared as best we can. And I think the very first thing you need to be prepared is a mindset. The mindset that things are going to go bad. And if they don't go bad, then I'm not talking about being black pill, negative Nancy. I'm just saying this is reality. Things are going to go bad. There's going to be school shootings. There's going to be carjackings. There's going to be people rough you up, people that try to steal from you, people that do home burglary. It's going to happen. If you don't think it's going to happen to you, we can live in la la land all you want, but you have to have a plan. You have to be mentally prepared. Then you have to be physically prepared. How are you physically prepared? My son, I'll just give you an example. My son, 14, starting to get a driver's permit. Dear Lord, have mercy on me. It's going to be starting driving. I live out in middle America. I do not want to have no contact with him, meaning he gets in an accident, breaks down, something happens, and there's no cell coverage. I want my son to be able to pick up a device and contact me. That's why I have SAT123 as a provider, a sponsor for my show. My wife and I and my son have sat phones. You get a sat phone for free when you start the subscription base with Sat123. So you get a $600 to $1,500 sat phone, for free. The monthly cost is less than $95 a month. You can roll the minutes over for, I think it's another $10. And now you have connectability, constant connectability with your loved ones. And you also go to sat123.com/JJ for generators, Faraday packs. And here's the other thing that my wife and my son have. And I can't believe that I have to say this out loud. My wife and my son have backpacks that have ballistic shields in them. I dropped my son off at school at a private Catholic school. And every day he walks away and I see his backpack, I go, he's got a fighting chance. You don't think it's going to happen? Minnesota, Antifa, transgender freak shoots through the windows as those Catholic school children are going to mass and praying on kneelers. My son's going to have a fighting chance. My wife, we traveled with our backpacks, ballistic shields. Will it stop everything? Probably not. Can I hide my body completely behind it? Nope, but I can hide my vitals, my vital organs, and I can fight to survive. Go to sat123.com/JJ and go ahead and purchase those items. Or just go look at the website and think, do I need this? That's what I do. I go to their website and other sponsors of my show, and I just ask the simple question, do I need this to be prepared? And if I do, I get it. so my family's prepared. And I have the mindset to use those products, and I have the mindset to keep my family safe. Let's go from one hard topic to another, because, and I was talking to Nick before we started our first episode of the Carrell Show. I did, I think, almost 300 Truth with Carrell. The new name, same guy, same mindset. And we were talking about the things I'm going to cover every day. And I just told Nick, hey, man, everything I cover, I believe are intertwined, meaning there's nothing happening in America that is in a vacuum by itself. You're looking at open borders. You're looking at transgender chaos. You're looking at sexual perversion. You're looking at the degradation of our military, the destruction of our finances, our completely being in bed with Israel, the trillions of dollars spent overseas. And you look at religion and the lies that have been told to us through our religious, and I put air quotes on this, leaders. I am Catholic. I am proud to be Catholic. I believe in the doctrines of my faith. I despise the leaders of my faith. I love my country. I despise the leaders of my country. And people say, well, why don't you leave the Catholic Church? Why would I leave my faith to the people that have tried to destroy her? The people that have sinned against God? Why would I just leave instead of fight? Just like I'm not leaving America to go to New Zealand or Costa Rica, Belize, because I'm not turning over my country to the traitorous bastards that have destroyed her. I'm going to fight them multiple ways. Podcasts, writing books, documentaries, going back into law enforcement. I'm going to fight. I want to show you some videos. And I titled this segment, The Destruction of God in America. Nick's going to play this in a second, but that is Pope Leo. Pope Leo is going to bless that piece of ice. You think this is an SNL skit. He's going to bless this block of ice because this block of ice is a representation of global climate change, the climate disaster. And this Pope is going to do something that we read about in the Old Testament, about all the false idols that are worshipped. And you watch this and you tell me we don't have a problem in the Catholic Church. But I want you to watch this with open eyes and to understand that this is symbolic of every faith, every denomination of the Christian faith, the Baptists, the Protestants, the Presbyterians, the Episcopals, the Lutherans. This is the rot that is inside of our Christian faith. Go ahead and play this, please, Nick.
Lord of life, bless this water. May it awaken our hearts, cleanse our indifference, soothe our grief, and renew our hope.
Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? What is the difference? What's the difference between my, quote, my Pope, Leo, praying over a block of ice than in the Old Testaments with the golden calf or piece of bronze. There is nothing. Christians are being slaughtered in Muslim worlds, Muslim nations, and we're praying over a block of ice. This Pope has put a prayer room in the Vatican for Muslims. Muslim scholars that come and use the Vatican library need a place to pray to their God 5 times. Is there a place to pray for Jesus in Mecca? Why is our Pope allowing this to happen? Well, this is the same Vatican that had gay orgies fueled by cocaine and narcotics. This is the same Vatican that has allowed sexual perversion, sexual crimes, sexual rapes of their believers at the hands of their priest. When I say that everything is connected, I mean everything is connected. Do you think the sexual perversion we're living in, it does not have a connection to the sexual disgrace and criminality of the Catholic Church and other denominations? You think that they happen? Those two things are not connected? They're irrelevant to each other? We have Pope Leo and my bishops here in Middle America, in Kansas, chastising men like me for enforcing immigration law, saying that we're going to go to hell, that we're sinning against God. I will take my life and what I have accomplished and the savages that I had to arrest, and I'll place them against you, you gutless bastards, in your stupid robes and your stupid hats any single day of the year. Everything that we are witnessing in the world today, in particular America, is connected. Why do you think when we go to church, the pews are empty? Because Americans have something built in them from God, and that is the ability to hear lies, the ability to hear half-truths, and the ability to be repelled by BS. And here is the greatest irony of all. Our faith leaders try with all their power and their might to fill those pews by capitulating, watering down, or outright lying about God's word in order to make everyone feel safe. And the irony is, if they just talked and spoke and read straight from the Bible and called sin a sin, you would have your churches packed. You would have to have multiple services on Thursdays, on Wednesdays, on Saturdays, and Sundays, because everybody would be clamoring to hear the truth. They're not clamoring to sit in pews and listen to you lie. You have destroyed, you vile creatures have destroyed our Christian faith. I'm going to show you a next video of 3 women that are absolutely 3 lesbians. And tell me, would you go to their church and listen to their whiny voices and listen to the crap they're going to speak to you? And you tell me that somehow what they're going to speak has any resemblance to God's word in the Bible? Play this for us, please, Nick.
This is Bishop Katrina Foster, Lutheran Bishop of New York, and I'm here today with my new assistants to the bishop, Pastor Nicole Schwabe, Pastor Patty Avila. Now, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, so I want you to open your ears, close your mouth, and listen as they tell you what they are here to do. Pastor?
Hello, I'm Nicole Schwabe. I'm the assistant to the bishop for discipleship. and congregational relations. So we are going to work together on how you open your arms in love to your neighbors, how you love God and love neighbor well.
So, hello, I'm Patty Avila, and I love Jesus and you love Jesus, but we have to tell the world about Jesus' loves and grace, and I'll be assistant the bishop on evangelism.
So you heard the good news. So I want you to like this video. I want you to share this video. I want you to practice your faith. And I want you to tell everybody that Jesus loves them and we do too.
I went back and forth. Do I show that whole video? Or do I just show the beginning of it? And I came to the realization I have to show it all because you can't articulate the absurdity of that. The Lutheran faith. What's happened to your faith with your faith leaders? Here's the biggest push that is happening inside of the Christian faith. And you need to understand that Christianity is paramount for the survival of the United States of America. It's not Islam, it's not Judaism. There's no such thing as Judeo-Christian. We are a Christian nation that is being dissolved of our Christian faith, and it is having a profound impact on the destruction of America. And the number one thing that they do, they being the leaders of our faith, being the people that hate America, the globalists, is they destroy Jesus. What is the fastest way to destroy Jesus? What is the most damning thing that you could say about Jesus? It's the same thing that the sexually perverse say to us. Being LGBTQ, XYZ divided by insanity is normal. And guess what? Jesus was gay too. Play number.
How queer was Jesus? He was an observant Jew, but he was 30 years old, no wife, no job, hung out with 12 other dudes. That's pretty queer. Queering the Bible takes Jesus and other outsiders and religiously stigmatized folks in the past and juxtaposes them with contemporary queer folks and Christians, realizing that despite our past cultural differences, sexual and gender differences, that we share similar histories of out of placeness or vilified sexualities and gender diversities. Jesus' kingdom practice is queer in the sense it questions identities and blurs distinctions. Luke presents Jesus as leaving the patriarchal household and challenging both cultural hierarchies in his egalitarian meals, transgressing gender roles, and radical inclusion of outsiders.
By that. If you're not angered by that, then I want you to look at this face. And Nick, can you please leave that up when I'm talking just for the next few minutes? Because I have this on my phone. This is what the Shroud of Turin, if you believe in the Shroud of Turin, which I have no reason not to, but this is the depiction of what Jesus would have looked like. Does that man look gay to you? Does that man look like he's confused if he can have a baby or not? Does that man right there look like he is confused about what his father laid down, the 10 Commandments, the rules? You think he's confused by those 10 Commandments? Do you think he has no understanding? When I look at that picture, and why I have it on my phone is because I am obviously a sinful man that has no right for any kind of forgiveness or blessings or grace from God. None. But I have that picture because it's a man, Jesus, looking right at me, and there's no room from that look directly into my eyes that I have any excuse for what I do wrong. None. Could you imagine trying to plead your case to that man? Trying to convince him that somehow you're not as bad of the things you've done and try to water down the things you've done in your life to that man? You think that man right there is going to take any nonsense from you? What a shocking difference between that man, that God, than what the video I just showed you, or the 3 lesbians that I showed you before, or the Pope blessing a block of ice. Do you think that man right there would approve of any of that crap? I saw an incredible discussion on the Shroud of Turin on Tucker Carlson. And please forgive me, I don't remember the gentleman's name, that he's like the greatest historian about it. But one thing that he said, many things he said that was, you don't even think about it, right? Because you just don't think about it, or at least I don't, because I'm ignorant. And it's the fact that that man right there, that man walked over 20,000 miles just by going through the Bible and tracing where he went. There was no Ubers. He wasn't catching a flight. He had to walk. He didn't have horses. He walked 20,000 miles, meaning he would have been very strong, like physically slender, muscular. He would not have been a white Jesus like the Europeans depicted through the Middle Ages, with the rosy cheek and the very soft, almost blondish brown hair, and very effeminate and very gay, as this man was speaking on the Shroud of Turin. He goes, it's the gay Jesus. No, this man would have been in the sun, the blazing sun, in the elements, and his face would have been worn. It would have been leathery. It would have been strong with lines, strong lines in his face. He would have had a dark beard and dark black hair. He would look like this man. What a difference from the propaganda that we have been told our whole lives about this very effeminate, this very 10 Commandments is a suggestion, Jesus. Standing in front of 3 gay lesbians, preachers, an absolute pagan pope, or that outlandishly gay, stupid pastor that I just showed you, and standing before this man. Kind of changes everything, doesn't it? It does for me. It changes the whole ball game for me. One small picture changes everything to me. I feel like I am a strong alpha man, that I don't really get very fearful of basically anything or anyone. I've been in the trenches. The thought of dying and having to stand before that man, that God, that being, terrifies me. Terrifies me. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, the propaganda we live in. Thanks, Nick. You could take Jesus off the picture. I'd love to keep him there. I'm looking at my clock up to the top. I always know if I have a good show. It doesn't matter what you feel. I feel like I have a good show or not, that's what drives me, is how fast the clock goes. I'm looking at, I got 5 minutes left. Holy smokes. My second sponsor that I talk about being prepared, and the second part of being prepared is how are you going to fight? Meaning, where are you giving your money? We just witnessed, and I witnessed this in California, No Kings protest. Do you know who one of the major funders of that is? Christy Walton of the Walmart store. And for years, I kept feeling as if I have to keep paying money to organizations, companies, businesses that hate me, hate everything that I am, hate my conservative values, hate my Christian beliefs, hate everything. But there is a new place, and it's called patriotsmade.com. patriotsmade.com/JJ. What is that? It has a business that has over 400 products made in America for Americans by Americans. There's no toxins in their beef, chicken. There's no toxins in their in their lotions, in their food. You know, when you put lotions on your body, they have metals and plastics and toxins in it. Do you know you have metals in your water? Yeah. This is all natural. I go there every month. I don't go to the big box stores and buy more stuff. I just replace what I buy at the big box stores at Patriots Made. And I go to Patriots Made, and there's over 1,000 of my listeners and viewers that use patriotsmade.com/JJ, and they love it. I love it. I'll tell you exactly what I buy every month. I buy their lotions, and then I buy their power bars, protein bars, whatever you want to call it. And they taste like candy. They don't taste like preservative chalk. They taste like candy. I don't go to the big box stores, or I try very hard not to. And one of the ways I can get around that is going to patriotsmade.com/JJ. I always say this. I have sponsors that I select. I have a lot of people want me to promote their product. I take what I believe in and I share it with you. Sat123, patriotsmade.com, Pet Club 24/7, Bella Grace. These are my sponsors. But go to patriotsmade.com/JJ. I don't have all the time to go through what I have, Nick, but I want to show, or let me just talk about this and I'll show one of these videos. I've been offered a position to go back to Customs and Border Protection. And I've accepted it. And I'm waiting for called the entry on duty date, EOD date, any day now. And I'm going to be out in the field making arrest of illegal aliens. And we have been told, or I have watched and I have seen, and I have spoken to agents that are being assaulted every single day. So I'm gearing up mentally. I'm gearing up. I want you just to, you know what, I'm going to save this. I just want to talk about it. When you look at law enforcement officers that are in Chicago, Portland, Dallas, Phoenix, LA, and they're in full riot gear, shields, batons, BDUs, ballistic shields on their chests and back. Have you ever asked why? Have you ever stopped and asked yourself why? Why our law enforcement officers have to look like that? Do you think that they want to dress like that every day? Do you think they want to be in a job where they feel they're going to get shot at and killed every day? You think that? Or do you think that our society is so fallen, so corrupt, so lost that our law enforcement officers have to dress and outfit themselves as if they're going into Mogadishu, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq? Because that is what has happened to our country. Our country has become so vile that we are shooting and hurting and killing our law enforcement. Unbelievable.